everybody, and welcome to my timeline park. My name is Jason, and this is my stage 11 submission for Deurklinks Timeline Contests. This is also the final stage in this contest, and it takes place in the current year 2022 and right into the future, all the way into 2030. So what happens here is that after a 2022 season where BonBon-Land for the first time in 15 years actually makes a financial profit, Parques Reunidos decides to sell the park. And at the same time they decide that some mysterious jazz person wins the biggest lottery prize in Danish history and decides to buy the park. So what he did in these 7 years of management is, first of all, in 2023 he decides to build this massive single rail coaster from RMC, the first RMC coaster in Denmark. It's called Alligator, and it's a single rail coaster with 3 inversions and some tight maneuvers through the swampy jungle area here. It's located in the area where Dylan, the crocodile, used to be. It actually repurposed the platform where the flat ride used to be for the station to the coaster. And yeah, you can see it does a nice inversion here and some wonky elements around here. I tried to make it as RMC-esque as possible, and I also added some custom supports here and there. Not the biggest or baddest RMC coaster, but a really fun and well-paced coaster, if you ask me. The following year, in 2024, some of the self-operated rides that used to be in the park were added and also got a new name. So here we have Elmer's Tørretumbler, Elmer's Dryer, the Lunar Loop back in its position where it used to be. We also have the butterfly ride here, which is now called Trines Tissegynge. Yeah, I don't want to translate that. And finally a Nordic jet down here at the shrimp lake, which is called Sølvfisken, the silverfish. I opted to only go for a single Nordic jet this time because space was kinda limited, but I really like how this small self-operated area has come together. There's also a small arcade game down here as well. And of course here you can see Mr. Magic making well, who's magic, not too much to say about that. In 2025, let's move over here. A massive new addition has been made in the old candy factory where the fantasy world used to be. You can now find the interactive dark ride called Bolsjefabrikken, the candy factory. And let's take a look inside and see here. You can see guests, they drive around in these forklifts, trucks, and simply go through all the different stages of making candy in a factory. So it starts out here in the dressing room. You come into the sterile station, you pick up some tools here, and then you go through the furnace area where you get some candy mass, and you'll meet several different BonBon characters as well as workers. You can see Supervisor Sean here and Hans Hungover, who's about to puke and such. So a lot of small characters everywhere. After that you go through this conveyor belt, through some different mechanical stuff. I imagine some candy being crushed and such here. Then you go inside the freezer room, and you also encounter some different BonBon characters asking for candy here before reversing back into the factory and ending the tour here. Here you can see another conveyor belt where employees, they are sorting out different colored candy. So yeah, I think this would be a really fun addition in the real world. Yeah, I really enjoyed making this, I have to admit. In 2026, another ride has come back to the park. It's Simsalabong, the former Sierra Tivoli coaster, which now is back here. It has got a new station with a brand new sign and queue line, but it's more or less the same ride. Some small tweaks here and there. But yeah, I really think this ride fits perfectly in here for the smallest of guests. Yeah, and of course, it was my first ever credit, so it has a special place in my heart. So it has to come back, of course. In 2027, there's a small addition for the western town. Here you can see a small Dodgems ride called Hermod's Hønsegård, Hermod's Chicken Coop, where you can bump it into each other in these chicken cars. And also down here we can see Hurlum Hammerhaj, which is a bit of a shout out to the former Hurlum High flying carpet ride that used to be here. Now it's a inverted swinging ship that goes all the way upside down, but still with the original Hurlum High backdrop. I thought it would be funny to add something like that here. In 2028, Vekoma builds this nice what's it called, family boomerang, and it's called Flyvefisken, the flying fish. You can see it has a lot of interesting colors and a nice little, pretty simple station here. You'll see it go backwards up the lift hill, and then it will drop down here, and it will just do a few drops and end out in the spike here, and of course go the entire way backwards as well. I also tried to make some custom supports for this ride, and here I guess we'll get their photo taken. You can also go and collect your photos over here. Yeah. And in 2029 another flat ride was added. This ride here is called Torben Tissemyr's Tekopper, Torben the Peeing Ant's Teacups, and this is also a shout out to the play tent that used to be here, where you could find a massive peeing ant slide inside. This peeing ant slide was also later located outside in another area, but this is more or less the original location for it. So I thought it would be funny to add a ride that gave a shout out to good old Torben the peeing ant. Finally, in 2030, a massive new Vekoma ride is added here. You know, when you add a Vekoma boomerang, you also has to add a massive Vekoma coaster next to it, or not next to it, but you get what I mean. This ride here is called Øyvind's Kløpind, Øyvind's Scratch Stick, and it's without a doubt the most intense ride in the Kingdom of Denmark. It's a 7 inversion launch coaster that goes through the ear holes of Øyvind Ørevoks, as you can see here. So guests will actually start out getting launched through here. You can see them coming here up into a top hat, and then going through several inversions, and yeah, just a lot of intense maneuvers. And yeah, you can see the backyard of Øyvind Ørevoks here, where there's a lot of candy and different BonBon characters enjoying some of the candy. Yeah, I'm really satisfied with this ride as well. Also, this ride here was added. I actually forgot to mention that it was added all the way back in 2024. It's called Genbrugsstationen, the recycle station. And this is also a bit of a shout out to Lossepladsen, the rubbish dump. This is a modern enterprise with a bit of the same kind of theming that used to be at the rubbish dump. Here you can see guests go through some containers, and there's some junk here and there, and the entrance gate is pretty similar to the original. There's also been added some theming for Sven's Vingarm, for instance. This sign and this spider has been added here. I also chose to make the mid beam here yellow, so that would actually be the golden swinging arm of Sven, the swing arm. I also added some scenery for Vanormen, Victor Vanorm. Here on top of the station you can now see a massive worm, and down in the helix you'll also find a massive worm with a bit of a fountain inside. And of course I also added a small arcade game here, the Vanorme-spil. Just a bit of a ski ball game. I actually also added a shoot the hoops game down here at the alligator. But yeah, that's pretty much what was added in these 7 years into the future. But if you read the full story, you will also know that this was all a dream, and of course nothing of this has actually happened, since it's the future and it's a dream. So it was just my dream. This is what I would do if I had the opportunity to change BonBon-Land into the future. I also have a nightmare, and if you want to check out that nightmare, you can see it in the next video. There will also be a link in this video for it. But that was actually all I had for this timeline contest. I really hope you enjoyed watching. Thanks for watching, and until the next time, see you. Take care. Bye bye.